Hi and welcome to another interesting video. I'm Successful is my name, and in this video tutorial we're going to be talking about CFL bulbs. Yeah, I know in the past I've talked about the incandescent bulb at first. I also talk about the LED bulbs, and today's video we're going to be talking about CFL bulb. What is CFL bulb? How does it actually work? What is it made for, and how does it actually create light for us? Yes, now if you go back in my other videos I actually created, I talked about the incandescent bulb, and if you notice an incandescent bulb, I actually explained everything about the incandescent bulb. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out right here. But if you notice in the LED bulb, in the LED explanation video, we can also go check it right here, I didn't actually explain how the semiconductor actually generates light. I actually just explained the base idea of how the light is being generated by the semiconductor, but I didn't explain what is actually happening inside of the semiconductor that actually generates light, and that is what I'm going to be doing. Maybe in the future I'm going to be making that video, so sorry about that. But in this video tutorial we are not talking about LED bulb, we are going to be talking about CFL bulb, how it works, as I said, how it's built, what is inside, and how does it actually generate light. We're going to cover all that in this video, so do want to stay to the ending of this video from the beginning to the end to get the full breakdown tutorial. As I said, I'm Successful is my name, and let's go into the video. Now, the first question is going to be coming to your mind is, I actually said CFL. CFL. What is CFL? And what is the full meaning of CFL? Now, CFL actually means Compact Fluorescent Lamp. Yeah, it's actually a compact fluorescent lamp, and as you can see right here, I'm holding the CFL bulb, and this is what the CFL abbreviation actually means. Now you're going to be asking me what is actually a CFL bulb and what is actually a CFL bulb in general. Now a CFL bulb is actually generated, we are actually produced, we are actually discovered to replace incandescent bulb. Now you're going to be asking me what is incandescent bulb. If you're confused about incandescent bulb, how does it work, you didn't really know how incandescent bulb works, or you don't know what is incandescent bulb, I actually made a video right here. I actually said that earlier. Now, fluorescent light actually made to replace incandescent bulb, because incandescent bulb we are less efficient and produce a lot of heat and stuff like that. So the LED fluorescent bulb, the CFL compact fluorescent lamp, we are now generated to replace the incandescent bulb, which actually uses 75% less of its energy. That's it. What I'm actually saying is that this CFL bulb actually use only 25% of its energy to generate light, thereby saving over some 5% of your energy and actually reducing your electricity bill. Now also, this CFL bulb actually lasts more than the incandescent bulb. Now if you remember in my incandescent bulb video, I actually said that the incandescent bulb actually lasts from 1200 to over 2000 hours of use time, but this fluorescent lamp, the CFL bulb compact fluorescent lamp, actually lasts for over 8,000 to 15,000 hours. Yeah, you see that, more increase, and it lasts more longer, and that is why it's more improved and actually made to overcome the incandescent bulb, because it's actually, you know, more efficient and more usable at homes. But actually you can't really find the CFL bulb really rampant. What is actually rampant is actually the LED bulb, because the LED bulb are more efficient and more better than the CFL bulb. But yes, this CFL bulb is also efficient in its parts, and today's video I'm going to be explaining how it actually generates the light. Now, talking about how does it actually generate light, and know you're very curious to know about it and how actually it generates light, but we're going to cover out in this video. Now, firstly, what you have to know is that there's actually an electronic ballast. Yeah, there's electronic ballast inside of this CFL bulb that actually, steps down the voltage and give the certain voltage to the tube for the tube to light up. But first off, let's explain what actually happens in the tube. Then we are going to explain how the ballast actually works. Now, firstly, in the tube, you have to be very conscious with the tube. If you you don't want to use the tube again, if it's actually destroyed or if it's actually damaged, you have to take it to cure. You don't have to just break it and inhale the air gas structure inside. There's actually a mercury inside. 4 milligrams of mercury is actually imposed inside of this tube, which is not really good to inhale into our body system. And there's also a gas inside of this tube. Yeah, there's a gas, and there's also a 4 milligram mercury vapor actually. So when disposing this kind of CFL bulbs, you have to be very conscious and to save yourself and save your body. Now, just as I said in the earlier clip, there's actually a gas and a mercury vapor inside of these two. Now, there's also actually a ballast inside of this CFL bulb. Now, what does the ballast actually do? What does the electronic ballast actually do? Now, this electronic ballast actually receives the voltage, which is actually here. You're going to connect it to the AC power supply. It's going to receive that AC voltage. Also, my country, Nigeria, we actually use 230 volts AC 60 Hz. So it's going to receive that AC voltage. There's actually a bridge rectifier inside of this ballast that's going to step down change the voltage from AC to DC. Now this does actually bridge rectifier that actually change from AC to DC. There are capacitors and inductors that actually filter out electronic radio waves interrupted signal so that the bulb will not be interrupted, and it also exerts a couple of capacitors which are actually inside the ballast to filter out noise and stuff like that. And there's also a step-up transformer. Yeah, there's actually a step-up transformer. As I said in my LED video, there's actually a step-down transformer that actually step down that voltage for it to power the LED. But in this CFL bulb, it's not like that. It's vice versa. This transformer is actually a step-up transformer. Now, the step-up transformer actually receive this voltage, receive this 230 volts, and set it up to 600 volts. Is very dangerous and prior. So that is what the transformer actually does inside. That's what the transformer actually does inside. It actually steps up the voltage up to 600 volts, which is down connected to this tube. I'm going to be opening up the tube to explain much better for you to understand it, but let's just explain it as it is right now. So now this 600 volts actually goes to the tube. There's actually a wire which actually comes out of this tube. I'm going to open it for you. You're going to see it. There's actually a wire that connects to this tube. So the transformer output is actually connected to this wire. It's actually connected to the tube. Now this 600 volts is actually what excites the mercury and the gas inside of this tube. Yeah, the mercury is actually just inside of the tube. It's not going to generate light on its own. It actually needs to be excited. So now this 600 volts is actually generated, which is actually a high voltage, actually excites the gas and the mercury, which is actually inside of this tube, which actually generates ultraviolet light. Now you're going to be asking me, ultraviolet light. We cannot see through ultraviolet light. Ultraviolet light is invisible. We are not capable for seeing ultraviolet light. There comes in the white cheese coating right here, the white cheese phosphor. Now you can be asking me, what is this actually called? It's actually called the phosphor coating. This white cheese thing is actually wrapping the tube is actually called the phosphor coating. Normally the tube is actually transparent, but the white cheese coating around the tube, which actually is placed, is actually called the phosphor. Now this phosphor actually receives this ultraviolet light and converts it to visible light, which we actually see, because the ultraviolet light cannot be seen by humans. We are not capable of seeing ultraviolet light. So this phosphor actually what converts the ultraviolet light into a visible light, which we actually see in our eyes. So just as I said, the coating, the phosphor coating is actually coated to the tube, actually helps to change the ultraviolet light to actually visible light, which you actually see. The ultraviolet light actually triggers the phosphor coating to actually change to visible light. You can find the CFL bulbs in different colors: warm, yellow, blue, different colors, and most viral and most popular one is actually the white. Yeah, this one I'm actually holding right here is actually a white type. Now, I know you're going to be understanding the phrase that if you use this CFL bulb and get it close to a Tesla coil, you can actually get it to light up. This is a clip which I actually made about 2 to 3 years ago. I made my first Tesla coil, and you can see me using a CFL bulb. That's actually a CFL bulb right there, and you can see that it's actually turned on when I get it close to the Tesla coil. Now you're going to be wondering, how does this actually work? Now it's actually the same thing. I actually said there's actually a step up transformer inside the ballast, which actually steps up the voltage up to 600 volts. That actually excites the mercury inside the tube and actually generate the ultraviolet light. That actually triggers the phosphor coating that actually changes it to visible light. So a Tesla coil actually generates high voltage and low current. So a Tesla coil is actually built to generate thousands of volts, and those thousands of volts, when you get the CFL bulb close to the Tesla coil, those thousands of volts transfer into the tube, thereby actually exciting the mercury which is actually inside. But there is one case: this mercury can also be excited even if the CFL bulb is dead. So I hope you get the full breakdown history on how the CFL bulb actually is working, and actually how it also works when you get it close to a Tesla coil. The Tesla coil actually generates also high voltage, so when you get the CFL bulb close to it, it's going to excite the mercury and triggers the phosphor coating, thereby generating light. And that is how the Tesla coil is actually also able to turn on the CFL bulb, which is kind of confusing to you, but no more confusing to you.
Okay, we really need to open up the CFL bulb so that we can explain it much better. Let's open up.
So actually we finally opened it up with a small crack right here. It was really tight, so I had to break it in that place to actually open it up successfully. But here finally we didn't break the tube, so good, kudos to that. So what is most important is that we open it up, and as you can see, as I explained earlier, this is actually the AC line. Here's the plate is actually connected to the 230 volt of my content Nigeria, and the AC line actually goes to the circuit board, as you can see right here. The circuit board right here, and you can see that there is actually a bridge rectifiers here. I don't know if you can see the 4 diode right here. These 4 diode is responsible for changing the AC voltage to DC voltage, and you can see some kind of capacitors right here. These are capacitors. You can see one here, you can see one here too, and you can see also one here. Now these capacitors are meant to filter out noise, which actually comes from the AC line. And you can see here, you can also see some transistors right here. These transistors is responsible for switching up to high frequency. Yeah, it's actually a high frequency transistors, or can be MOSFET, I don't know. It's actually a 13001 type of transistor. It can be a MOSFET, I don't know, I'm going to check it out. Anyways, these power transistors or MOSFET actually helps to, switch the frequency very high. We know that the AC line is actually 60 Hz, so the help of the transistors actually switch it to a higher frequency for this kind of small transformer. So you can see also an inductor right here is actually an inductor. You can see also one right here. This inductor actually helps to filter out radio frequency waves and clear up the signal. And finally, you can see the transformer right here. It's actually a stepper transformer, actually steps up the voltage up to 600 volts. And you can see the terminals actually connected to the tube right here. The tube have two wires each, as you can see right here. It has 2 wires each. And as you can see, the high voltage actually goes to the tube, aside the mercury, and we get the lights as so. Just want to make a very quick wrap up on how it's inside and actually how it works. So I hope you get the full breakdown tutorial on how CFL bulb actually work, how the CFL bulb is produced, how does it actually generate light, what is actually inside the CFL bulb, and what is actually the important things you need to know about the CFL bulb. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If so, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and also you can support me on Patreon by joining for free as a member. That will be in the link in the description. Also, I actually post behind the scenes and video upcomings on that Patreon, and you can support if you can. And I also generated a campaign to get a new device, to get a better device for fast editing and smooth editing. That will be also in the link in the description. I appreciate you staying till this long. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.